sometimes we cry, but we know no matter what, we'll always have the time to talk about the wastelands, talk about the Lord, talk about surviving radiation storms, talk about the doubts, talk about the fears, talk about the game we all love. It's Fallout through the years. That Fallout show.
Well, hello everyone, happy Friday, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of That Fallout Show. This is episode 38, going viral, colon, COVID-19. Right here on We Just Love Games Network. I am your host, Vendortron, and joining us this evening is the wonderful Rick McVick.
First time hearing that title, and it was a gem. I approve.
I kind of, I didn't realize that I had put a colon in there.
I approve. Two
Happens
thumbs
a
up.
lot.
Two
Happens a
thumbs
lot.
up for the colon. Two thumbs up the colon.
Well, you know what? You don't. The colon is one of those things that you don't think about on a regular basis.
Some of us happen to think about it a lot.
And that wonderful voice you guys are hearing is Shalene, joining us this evening. Shalene, how are you doing?
I'm doing.
It's
Yeah.
okay. So you guys had a week. That was something that happened.
My week wasn't so bad.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
lovely.
Oh,
I'm so glad to hear that.
well, how was your week? Did you cut some records?
I did cut some records. That's going fairly well. And yeah, it's going pretty good. My tape decks are done. I think I'm gonna have a grand opening in the summer.
Oh,
And yeah. it's
Can
gonna
we
be a good
come?
time.
that's a big
If you
deal.
want to fly out, sure. So yeah, I think my studio will be officially opening in a few months.
That's cool. Congrats, man.
Yeah.
That's
Very
happy.
exciting.
great news.
Yes.
It's great news.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully
today,
everything doesn't break before then.
well, knock on wood. Yeah. Today was interesting. We had an office baby shower, which I went to for the pizza.
You went?
I went for the pizza.
Ah, there was pizza. Okay.
Yeah. I went for the pizza.
Ulterior motives.
Even though I had too much coffee in the morning and I was having chest pain, I'm like, I'm still going to eat this pizza because it's delicious. Yeah. Yeah, it was really weird. It was weird. Baby showers at work, I don't think that they should be a thing. It's
I
weird.
agree.
I
Yeah.
can see it for small companies. Like my wife had a baby shower at her company, but there was like 5 people working there at the time.
Yeah.
It's like that's different.
Yeah, that's different. No, this was weird. It was like all of the office ladies and then me. And then there was like a bunch of the docs had showed up. So there was like some other guys, which made it nice because it wasn't so estrogen influenced. Little gender balanced, I guess I could say. But it was weird. Like the girl that we had a baby shower for, she just like at the end of it, she just like packed up her gifts and just left the office. And like just
Well,
left.
like, what was she supposed to do?
Go back to work. The day's not done yet, bitch. You get back to your desk. Anyways,
We're getting like every show closer to the explicit tag being thrown on.
I'm sorry.
Oh my
It's both
goodness.
of us.
Speaking of
someday.
shows, we have one of those to do. Before we get started, we would love it if you guys could help promote the show. As we are live right now, if you're watching live with us and in the chat, say hi. Hello to everybody coming in. Happy Friday, guys. Pull up a chair and grab your favorite drink and get ready because it's going to be a doozy. Share us on your social media. Don't forget to send us some emails, like, subscribe, and retweet the show, and tell us, tell your friends. Don't tell us, tell your friends, and host us on Twitch as well. And it really helps get the stream out there and the podcast out there. We are going to cover some news today. Shalene's going to talk a little bit about that as well. We're going to share some 5-star review shoutouts and new people that are in our chat after dark, as well as our gameplay and then our special segment on COVID-19. But before we get started, Shalene, did you want to roll through the 5-star review shoutouts?
I'd love to. Our 5-star viewers are all from the US. This time we have Michael R871 who says, first time to rate anything and send a comment. Love you guys so much. Every show is so good to listen to. Have been watching the three of you on YouTube and I'm curious why the views are not very many. In my opinion, the show gives just as good content as Oxhorn. Keep up the great work. Well, the views are not very many, and that's very sad. We also agree that the views should be more. Thank you for saying kind things about us. Tell your friends so that the views can be more.
But every show, that's a stretch.
You know, and like this is a conversation that we've had before where it's like, you know, we're in it for the community and we enjoy doing it and spending time together and hearing about everybody's lives and playing games. Because at the end of the day,
we just love games.
It's just up there in the top corner. We just love games.
I do it for the fame and the money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, how's that working out
I came
for
for the pizza, but I don't know. We've also got a 5-star review from Staged Link, who said, even though radiation is glowing and there are mutants all around,
Yes.
they'll laugh and cry.
Nice.
No matter what, though, they make the time to talk about the wasteland, lore, surviving radiation storms, doubts, fears, and most importantly, the games we all love, Fallout through the years.
Huh. That sounds really familiar.
It does, doesn't it? I almost
Nice.
wanted to sing it. It was so poetic. And
Thank you, Mr. G,
Gizmo.Jeff
Trash for that
says,
song.
pardon?
So thank you, Mr. G and Bit Trash for that song.
Yes, indeed. It's glorious. Gizmo.Jeff says, every episode is a treat and enjoyable from start to finish. Don't change anything. You three are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. That's great. How can people leave a 5-star review shout out, Shalene?
They can just visit iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it were, and click the 5th star. Leave us a text review. You have to leave a text review, or else we can't see your name. So if you just click the 5 stars, that helps. That's a rating. Great, we appreciate it. But we can't see your name, and ergo, we can't shout you out on the show. So leave a little review, and that helps people find the show, so that the views can be more.
Nice.
So the views.
Well,
can
the
be more.
listens, technically. It's
I
on
wonder if
iTunes.
we're still the number one podcast in Uzbekistan? Is that
I haven't checked. I haven't checked our Uzbekistan ratings in a while.
Transylvania?
We were doing really well there. Also, Turkmenistan. I believe we were doing great there
yes,
as well.
Yes.
We're probably killing it now in other countries that are like hunkered down from COVID-19.
Yes. If you are quarantined, what a better way to spend your time than listen to either that Fallout show or We Just Love Games Game Stack podcast. You can find us on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Twitch, or any other podcast platform that I've forgotten to mention. But,
all of them. We're on all of them.
Yeah, that was just a little slight ad tangent there. So, yeah. Shalene, who do we have in the Discord that's new?
We have a few new people in the Discord, but before we talk about them, we did restructure the Discord. You may have noticed a bit of construction noises.
Yes. We sent out notices.
Yes, the water was off for half a day in the Discord. It was terrible. But we're back to normal. All the construction has finished, and we have reorganized how some of the Discord is set up. If you have any suggestions or comments on that, just let us know in the suggestions box in Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And new to the Discord, so these people, they will never see the original version of our Discord. They're only here for the new Discord. Trollface, Hulk Dad 839, DSG Dr. Gunshot, and Montgomery 91.
Nice.
I really laughed when Trollface joined the Discord. Vendor put a message with the little image of like, I'm watching you. And I was also super nervous when I saw that somebody named Trollface had joined the Discord. But turns out Trollface is a super nice person.
Turns
so
out he's
hi.
a super nice person.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Very
See,
friendly.
We are very prejudiced. You know, we just arrive at our
We
own
were
conclusion.
judging.
Totally
judging
judgmental
troll face.
Jesus
Yeah,
was
we-
all
we-
over the Discord that day.
We judge trolls, you know.
We were so scared though. You know, we don't get a ton of trolls, so
Yeah.
Or
So
troll
when
Like,
they
oh
do
dear.
happen, it's like, well, bam, just like instant, like.
Days
But-
of yore have taught us how to use the banhammer quite efficiently.
Mhm,
oh
mhm.
yeah, we do not hesitate.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And how can people join the Discord?
You can click that link if you're watching live. It's right down below. There is a lovely Discord link on our Twitch page. Even if you're not watching live, just visit twitch.tv/We Just Love Games, and the link is still there. Alternately, you can send us a message on any of our social media platforms. Email us at info@wejustlovegames.com, and we'll get you that invitation link.
Nice. Thanks, Shalene. Well, without further ado, let's roll into our news.
If you like news, you're gonna love our next segment.
Take it away, Shalene.
Well, I don't even know how to react. 'Cause...
What happened in the world of news this week, Shalene?
Thank you. A lot of things.
Apparently, you have to
happened.
do it Rick style.
Yes, I
Or
mean,
it doesn't
feels like to
work.
get phased out.
I'm just gonna slowly just
the robots are taking our jobs.
Oh, goodness.
So the first thing that we're gonna chat about is the latest edition of Inside the Vault, which is Bethesda's weekly newsletter communicating Fallout 76 news to the community. They recapped some of the details from the Wastelanders preview at Bethesda Game Days.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's here. They had this panel featuring Project Lead Jeff Gardner, lead designer Farrah Baudouin. I don't know how
Good
to
job.
do
Yep.
French
Solid effort.
pronunciation.
Solid effort.
Yes. Bedouin.
Baudouin.
Bedouin.
Baudouin.
Oh,
Lead
boy.
artist Nate Perkypile and design director Mark Tucker. And if you couldn't catch that live, it is available on Bethesda's website and on their YouTube channel. And they've also recapped some of those details in this article. Wastelanders takes place a year after the game begins, and they wanted to make it feel like that year of time had passed in game. So they have actually updated the Pip-Boy so that the year will be 2103 now, which I think is a cute detail. And some of those things are big, like the introduction of NPCs and factions and the changes to many of the locations in the game. And the people, these NPCs that are moving into Appalachia, have been setting up settlements. So there are two main locations: Foundation, which is the home of settlers, and the Crater, which is the home of raiders. And these settlements will act as hub locations where you can talk to NPCs, pick up quests, trade with vendors, that kind of thing. And
That's going to be really fun going into a server because it's going to be really busy there. Not with just NPCs, but everybody else on
people
the map.
too.
Yeah.
These aren't the only places that there will be NPCs. They will be spread out across the map, and there will be a couple of NPCs available right out the vaults. As soon as you exit Vault 76, there will be people there. And you'll encounter them whether you are starting a new character or whether you are bringing in one of your high-level characters. And players of any level can play through Wastelanders, and it's different depending on how you play. If you bring in a high-level character, these NPCs are going to act a little bit differently than if you're a noob. You know, they might feel a little intimidated by all of your strength and equipment.
So you can strong arm them? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you can bully them. You can intimidate them. And they introduced Duchess, the proprietor of a bar called The Wayward, and also the new instances system. So there will be instanced areas for you and your teammates.
Good.
There we go.
That's good.
Mhm. The quote from Mr. Baudouin says, I hope he doesn't listen and hear me butcher his name. Instances were a huge step for us because one of the things it allows us to do is tell a tailored story to anyone that's entering it. Before, when you would go to these places, who knows what state it could have been in? People could have gone in and cleared out the entire dungeon. There could have been literally nothing left for you to do. And that's kind of a hit or miss experience. Also, you will not get an empty dungeon. You'll get an experience that's full of life and is tailored to you going in there. Also, there is no way we could really react to you. Your choices, your decisions. Instances make it so that we can cumulatively, step by step, keep track of what you've chosen so that it can be reflected as you go along. This is super exciting technology for us, not only for Wastelanders, but for everything we're going to be doing in the future, Tucker added.
Cool.
It is literally a game changer, and you should expect to see more of that content going forward. They also introduced the dialogue system and the fact that the dialogue system will include special choices depending on, special choices. I didn't mean to do that, but I did.
You did.
Special choices depending on your special stats and your character build. So
Cool.
I'm very excited for that. That was one of my favorite things in some of the older Fallout games and something that I missed very much. In Fallout 4, it was pretty rare to have those special dialogue checks. So looking forward to having those back. And go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I like the fact that they're like instances is a big step forward. It's huge, groundbreaking, and I'm like they've been doing it forever.
How do you guys feel
They
about?
haven't. I mean,
How do you guys feel
Not-
about
not them, but everyone
limited dialogue options?
I think we've all gotten used to that since Fallout 4.
Okay.
what do you
But-
mean?
Well, it just says in the article that Jeff Gardner is saying they're limiting dialogue to 4 options.
Yeah, it's the way it was in.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I just noticed
missed
that
that
it was
bit.
just around the part where you were
No,
talking
he
about
says
the
we're not just limiting dialogue.
Oh, I
to
see this.
Oh.
I see this. Oh, I see
So-
it now. I misread that. My apologies.
Yeah, I was thinking that it looked like it had gone back to more of the Fallout 3 style dialogue list instead of the 4 buttons.
That's good.
So,
That's
yeah,
cool.
I think it'll be a good thing. And
Yeah.
they also mentioned that in addition to the raiders that you can ally with as a faction, there are some raiders called the Blood Eagles who will always be hostile, no matter what.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll have a new enemy type, and there are
That's
NPCs
disgusting.
that you can recruit as allies, and they will come back to your camp with you and live there.
Yes.
They'll give you quests. They are romanceable. There are 2 major allies and 3 lighter allies that will protect your camp and give you dailies. But they aren't characters that you'll find in those main hub locations.
Mhm.
So, and they also provided a roadmap of what's coming in the future. So we get Wastelanders on April the 7th, and then there are a few other things. The 23rd through 27th, there's a Merg Purveyor sale.
Oh.
We have Double XP Weekend, the 30th through May the 4th. And there are some backpack vanity updates, May the 12th. I'm hoping that this will include the hide backpack option that we've been wishing for.
Right.
A treasure hunter event will appear May 15th through 18th. And on May 19th, just for me personally as a birthday gift, they're bringing back Foshnoshed. So
It's because
thank you,
asked.
Bethesda. That was so thoughtful. I really appreciate what you've done here. So that was lovely. And yeah, there are also some frequently asked questions at the end of this. I'm not going to roll through those. If you would like more information, you can just visit Bethesda.net yourself.
Yeah, and the article that we're referencing here also has some panel gameplay footage
Mm-hmm.
with NPCs that you guys can check out as well. It's like a 17-minute clip, so you get a good idea of what you're going to be experiencing. It looks pretty good so far. There's a
pretty
character in
excited.
here that looks a little bit like you know who, without the mummy wrappings. But yeah, that's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So-
I think it's going to be good.
Me
Cautiously
too.
optimistic.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it more the closer we get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys realize how gross the name Blood Eagle is, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's like the Viking thing when they would like pull the lungs out.
Through the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like an eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like an eagle.
While the guy was still alive, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It was an form of execution.
Sounds like a
Horrible.
bad Monday.
Fun times.
Yeah. But hey, if I was going to be a raider, I would want to have this incredibly intimidating name so that I would be like, I'm the Blood Eagles. And people are going to be like, oh gosh, we better not mess with her.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Right.
Maybe we won't borrow eggs.
Yes. I want them to quail in terror when they hear the name of my raider gang. So,
I see what you did there.
yeah, indeed. Our next story is that Bethesda is holding a private community summit for Fallout 76. They invited a lot of the more prominent members in the Fallout community. But we do have an update on this one. It was postponed due to coronavirus concerns. So, yeah, it was very disappointing for a lot of the people who had been invited. I know some of the Wastelanders Homeowners Association people had been invited, and a bunch of people. It was a lot of the photo community. I had noticed a lot of the people who are very active in terms of posting in-game photography.
That
were a
seems
lot of
to
the people who
be.
had been
I feel like that is the people that get the most traction with Bethesda specifically is the
Mhm.
ones that share their content
Right.
visually
right
through
I
social
agree
media.
with that.
Yeah.
But of course, Bethesda has plainly lost our email address because we were not invited.
I don't
So
think they ever had it.
Bethintern, get on that.
Mm.
It's okay.
We know you're
We
listening.
Forgive you. We forgive you, Bethintern.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We've already covered that.
Check that off the list.
So maybe we should have checked through it before.
It's fine. It's fine.
So we're going to talk a little bit this time about the coronavirus. That's one of the things that's up on our list of things to chat about.
Mhm.
And we love apocalypse stories here at That Fallout Show. We enjoy talking about apocalypses of all kinds, and pandemics, of course, are one type of apocalypse. And Fallout 76 players have been working really hard to get their characters sick, to get their characters infected with various diseases. This is from a Polygon article. And in Fallout 76, there is a challenge that you can win some atoms for contracting every disease in the game. And people have been trying to get all of these diseases. They have a quote here from Darth Obnoxious, a Fallout 76 player. If I didn't have an active disease, then I would engage diseased enemies that I could have avoided. I would sleep on dirty sleeping bags, eat rotting food, or random plants.
Ew.
And oh, it's so funny. All of the diseases that you can get, bloodworms, weeping sores. There's so many different diseases, and it's hard after you get to a high level to get atoms. You know, it's hard to get atoms, and these challenges are one of the only ways to get them. And this challenge was really hard to get. I remember playing with Archon, and it took him ages to get the last one. He was down to just swamp itch. And every time that I would sleep in a sleeping bag, I would get swamp itch every time. And I would be like, come on, sleep in this sleeping bag. You'll get the swamp itch. And he would never get swamp itch. Only I would get swamp itch.
He washes his hands.
I would be like, okay, lay in the sleeping bag after me, and then you get the swamp itch. That's how it works, right? But it was terrible. He couldn't get the swamp itch. But yeah, I love that they've devoted an entire article here to talking about folks getting these diseases.
The swamp itch.
And
Swamp itch just sounds so gauche.
isn't it horrible?
It just sounds like, oh man, I got the swamp itch again.
It's horrible. It's just horrible. There's a disease called the whoopsies.
Oh no.
So good. It's so good.
What does that even
It's
do?
I have no idea. It lowers your luck stat by 2 points. Yes.
Whoopsie,
And,
I dropped it. Bad luck.
Oh my gosh.
Whoopsie, I got bad luck.
And the odds to get this disease are super low, even if you set up the exact conditions to get it.
The swamp itch?
The whoopsies.
So
the whoopsies?
So if I have a
Mhm.
day that's going really bad and I'm just having bad luck, I have a case of the whoopsies.
Yes, exactly.
Basically.
A case of the whoopsies.
It's very
yeah.
clever.
This article is just basically an appreciation of the disease system in Fallout 76, and there are so many diseases. And I
should
thought
do
that
it-
was
we
just a fun thing to mention while we were.
Yeah, we should do an
viruses.
episode on the diseases in Fallout.
That would be fun.
Because I don't even know half of them. The only one I really know is the bloodworms and the swamp itch. Those are the only two.
The one that troubles me the most is snot ear. I always
Ew.
get snot ear from snallygasters, and it just sounds like the worst possible thing that could happen to a
Just
human.
a
Like,
mucus
They come
pouring
out there like-
can
of
we
the ear.
not get snot ear? Like, I just, because the snallygaster attacks you, and I don't like thinking about it. I
It's
don't
like that feeling
thinking
when
about
water actually gets in your ear, like,
Oh.
Yeah.
I
but it's
hate that.
goopy.
Oh,
Ugh,
gross.
snot ear. So-
Is that hair gel? No, it's snot ear.
oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Oh
Okay.
man.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Bethesda made a comment recently that they were it was a Pete Hines quote when speaking with US Gamer. He was surprised at he stated that the company was surprised at how few people wanted to take part in PvP in Fallout 76, and how they were surprised that everyone was more interested in doing PvE together. He said, as opposed to, I want to test my mettle against you, let's get into a duel, there's some folks who do, don't get me wrong, but it's a smaller percentage of the player base than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I feel like that's just one example of how
Disconnected?
yeah.
Like if they took a minute and looked at all of us, we're like, no, we're all just friendly.
Yeah, because I mean, multiplayer Fallout experience is something that we've been talking about. I mean, even us personally have been
Yeah.
talking about
But
Mhm.
co-op,
for years.
not
For
versus.
years. And that's all we ever talked about was Fallout
Yeah.
with friends playing together.
Yeah.
We never thought about like, oh gosh, I wish I could have a showdown against another player in
Yeah.
Fallout. It's just it's a major disconnect.
That's why I was surprised they took the survival servers away, because I thought that like you would have those two separated. But maybe the reason they took those servers out of beta is because like nobody was on them.
Yeah,
So-
and like I gotta say, like I've never encountered a hostile person in the Fallout universe.
Very rarely have I encountered anyone hostile. Very rarely.
The
It's
only
pretty
I
rare.
remember-
the only instance
remember-
was in Nuclear Winter, but other than that, there was
And
no
that's
one.
where you can go get your rocks off. If they took the PvP aspects out of the normal servers entirely, I wouldn't be upset. And they just whacked them all into Nuclear Winter. That'd be just fine.
I actually really like Nuclear Winter. I think
Yeah.
it's really fun.
It's one of the I think it's the best battle royale out there. But
Mhm.
I remember early on we encountered some people who were hostile, and I think
Yes.
mainly it was because we assumed they were going to be hostile. Like I remember being down towards the
Mhm.
power station, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
And-
sullied
or, like,
by
the
the
dam or
history of
something.
PvP's games.
And yeah, and it was like the four of us, and it was the three of us in Archon, and I had like a cloaking device, and we're like, we just ambushed this dude in power armor because they're like, he's gonna kill us, he's getting close, and we just lit him up.
If we shoot first, then we'll live.
Yeah, we were so used to like PUBG.
Yeah. I feel like
Yes, we were coming fresh off of PUBG in those early
Yeah.
days.
Appalachia is like, it's like going to the mall. Everybody is there, but they're all just kind of doing their own business, and they don't really care that you're there. You know, you're just like perusing the stores and exploring, and that's really all it
But
is.
There's
Do you
a few
remember that
jerks.
time, Vendor, that lady put you in a concrete box?
Yeah, that was mean.
That was mean.
That was just funny.
But we did stumble upon her camp. I was trying to fix her turret.
Yeah.
And she put
must
me in
have
a
thought you
concrete
were
box.
being hostile.
Yeah.
She didn't put me in a box, and I was together with you.
That's
but
just good.
we were
That's
placed in a
just
box.
good-natured ribbing.
Nobody puts Vendor in a box.
It was funny.
Maybe that's what she was doing. She was doing like they did the gun runners. She built you into the building around you.
Gosh,
I never
wish
thought of that, but your in-game name is Vendortron, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wish I
Like,
could.
oh, well, he
yeah, actually, now that I
He
think
belongs
about
in a
that.
box. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
There you are at home.
Oh my
In your
lord!
natural
Maybe she was just
habitat.
trying to make you comfortable.
You're
in a
probably right.
box of
Meanwhile,
your
we were
own.
like raising our weapons in preparation to wild.
That's too funny.
Huh.
You're
That's
welcome.
too funny.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Um.
I'm excited to get back to it. You know, like I think
What?
that I am. With the NPCs coming, I am excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, we've talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm
we're all
definitely
we're all
gonna
gonna
go
give
back to it.
Wastelanders a try. You know.
Absolutely, yeah.
We've talked
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. So I do wish, now that you say it, Shalene, I do wish that I could play as a robot. Like my
Mhm.
character could be a robot. Can you imagine just a Vendortron just
That would
running
be
around
So lovely.
as a robot? Like it would be so cool.
Mhm.
But
I've always
or a
thought Fallout
ghoul.
needed
Or if
to
you
have
could be a
playable.
ghoul,
Yeah,
you know?
ghouls.
That would be fun.
It would be
Yeah.
great. It would be like an automatic debuff to charisma.
Yeah.
But then radiation would heal you. It would be great.
And
Yeah.
poison wouldn't hurt you, really.
It would be so cool. Chems would be practically useless. You'd have to use super chems.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Vendor, why don't you tell us about the stock market? There
Yeah.
was some stock market concerns.
So on the last episode of GameStack, we had talked about how the Dow Jones had fallen the
And he couldn't get up.
highest number of points in history, and we were all very concerned about it. And so I seen this article coming from City News talking about basically the shares are trying to make a comeback in the fallout or the wake of the fallout of the coronavirus. And investors have been, cautiously optimistic amidst the coronavirus outbreak with regards to the stock market, but shares are falling globally, and there's a lot of concern over whether or not this is going to lead to a global financial crisis. The Dow fell 1.4% to 25,409. And the S&P 500 slid to 0.8%, and the NASDAQ DAX only rose 0.1%. So it's been a pretty rough couple of weeks for the stock market. Just to put things into perspective, Microsoft and Apple, the two most valuable companies in the S&P 500, lost a combined $300 billion in share price, which
That's a
is
lot.
a sign of the severity and the concern about the possibility of an economic blow. And the price of oil also sank 16% as well.
Yeah, because no one's driving anywhere.
Yeah. Market losses overall, as of today, are pretty moderate, though. The Federal Reserve released a statement saying it stood ready to help the economy if needed. This is in the U.S., of course. Investors increasingly expect the Feds to cut the rates at its next policy meeting in mid-March. Canadians are also preparing to do the same thing with the Bank of Canada. So we could see some sort of correction, but hopefully nothing that would be too drastic, but just enough to protect the market from a total collapse. So the virus hit China in December, as we know, and that shut down large production and moving of people in general, which obviously caused a lot of problems with the economy. So, and so far, 60 other nations are representing confirmed cases of coronavirus. And so, yeah, so this article I thought was a pretty interesting one to share in terms of talking about, fallout and apocalypse type things. I do have another article here as well, though. 5 stocks that you can buy for the coronavirus apocalypse. And so this article comes from NASDAQ directly by David Bartosiak. And he recommends that there are a couple of stocks that you can invest in that seem to be doing well and will probably continue to do well throughout the course of this issue. Netflix and chill, yes? Netflix stock is going up. So that was one of the ones that the NASDAQ recommends as a good investment. As well as Roku. You guys know what Roku is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Streaming service, streaming devices, all that jazz. I've got a Roku, actually. I love it. It's a great little device. They also recommend Sibanye Gold, TK Tankers, Costamare, and a couple others. But you have to pay to see those in this article. So, you know what? Screw you, NASDAQ.
They need all the money they can get, vendor.
But they're totally right. In times like this, there are opportunities. Look at supply chain, for example. Toilet paper. Maybe it's time to invest in Charmin.
I've heard a lot of instances of people going to the store to pick up toilet paper and the supply is just devastated because
Right?
people are stocking up.
Evian.
don't
Or
understand
Dasani, Nestle, I guess, in general, but cleaning products, might be time to invest in Clorox.
I love how like major like medical advisors are like, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and everyone's like, buy all the toilet paper and the water and the bleach and the masks. Everyone's like, it's like a flu. You know what? Just go do it.
Yeah. So,
What I want to know is why wasn't everybody washing their hands before?
because people are terrible.
Yeah. and
You're all
gross.
disgusting.
Like the dude I witnessed at work who just like walked out of the stall and fecal matter everywhere.
I'm like crazy. Like when I open the door, it's one of these, like I tuck my hand into my sleeve
Yeah.
and I open the door, and then like people hand me a piece of paper and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. So I'm kind of paranoid like that. Archon's like, people are disgusting. Right. I agree completely. Anyways, there are some other things that you can cash in on, and that is our ballistic bargains in the Atomic Shop. Rick, did you want to talk about our ballistic bargains?
I do, in fact. So I'm opening the page now. I do want to say that I got a ballistic bargain. I was looking for a pair of sunglasses because I don't have any. My freebies have all disappeared.
Oh yeah, how
And-
come you're not wearing them?
I expected you to be wearing them at the
You
start
should
of the podcast.
put them on. We want to see.
I don't have them in my room.
Ah.
Are you serious? I'm so
yeah.
disappointed in you.
I'm
For
sorry.
everybody who's
Next
listening,
time.
Rick bought these wonderful sunglasses this week. They're pretty
Good.
rad.
They're
And,
amazing.
I did.
Yeah.
They look like Ray-Bans, like the classic.
Yeah, like the
Ray-Bans.
Wayfarer.
Yeah, Wayfarer, that's it. And the rims are black, but the arm extensions are pink, and the front lens is like a sunset kind of yellow fluorescent thing. They're pretty dope. They were custom built.
Custom.
I had them custom made from knockaround sunglasses, and they were like $35.
Nice.
Really good quality.
What? We
And
should get
so-
like sponsorship from them.
Yes,
well,
I
here's the-
want some.
Knock
here's the funny
around
thing.
Sunglasses.
And here's the funny thing. After I bought them, I went, wait a minute, where are they getting made? Probably China. And they
That's
were, in
okay,
fact,
though.
Oh, scroll back up, vendor. Scroll back
We
up.
will touch on that
Look
in
at
a
those
moment.
with the pink lenses.
These
I would
ones
rock
here?
those so hard.
The Mai
Dude.
Tais?
Yes.
Dude, $35, you can make custom ones. There's like so many
I would look
different
great in
variations
those
you can do.
sunglasses.
And then when you get one, you get like a coupon to get 15% off another pair.
Wow,
I
these
do.
are
I
really
do tend to
nice.
wear Wayfarer style sunglasses
They
pretty
and, like,
much all the time.
the build is really nice. Like they feel real good.
Mhm.
But the funny thing is like they're built in Taiwan, so they showed up today, and I looked at my wife and I smelled the coronavirus. She's like, great. But they came in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, those
So I don't
came
know
fast.
I don't know what got shut down over there. But I'll tell you what didn't get shut down is the Ballistic Bargains digital store. And I wish we could come. Like I kind of want to introduce myself with this, like Ballistic Bargains, Rick, come on down, kind of thing. But anyway, forget it. So here is some stuff you can get with the Atoms in the Ballistic Bargain. No, the Atom Shop. That's what I keep calling it, the Ballistic Bargain Shop. You can get the Heroes Photo Mode frame until March 10th. That's a freebie. Pick that one up. That's the free item. Let's see. Limited time offers. Let's see. Is any of them? Nope. They're all still available. And I'll start with this one, the Grognak Hero Bundle until March 24th, and that is 1,500 atoms.
It's
you can
fabulous, by the way.
Do you have it?
It's
Did
fab.
you get it, Shalene?
Of course I got it. Yeah.
Oh.
It's amazing.
How many items are in it?
5, I think.
So it's the Fab 5. You can get the Fab 5 Grognak Hero Bundle for 1,500 atoms until March 24th. Until March 17th, you can get the following items. Battle Mace Grognak Axe Skin for 500 atoms. The Barbaric Yelp emote for 250 atoms.
How?
Huh?
How was that? I missed that.
You can get the Grognak player icon for 150 atoms. You can get the Umpire of the Apocalypse outfit for 900 atoms. And those are all available until March 17th. Until March 10th, you can get the Bowling Ball Loot Bag. If you want to keep your balls in something, there you go. 500 atoms for that. You get the Sports Nostalgia Wallpaper Set also for 700 atoms until March 10th. And by the way, the Grognak Hero Bundle contains the Grognak Battle Armor costume. Bonus item available as part of the bundle only. The King Grognak Throne. I'm assuming they don't mean a toilet. And that's also an exclusive bonus item to the Grognak Hero Bundle. And by the way, if you use the throne, please wash your hands. Battle Mace Grognak.
I wouldn't be mad if it was a toilet.
Me neither.
I wouldn't be mad at all.
Oh, I see it there. I see it in the picture. That's pretty dope, actually. But again, wash your hands. You can also get the Barbaric emote, and then you can get the Grognak player icon.
I love these little Grognak statues that are in the. Do you
The
see
little
them?
plushies, aren't they
Yeah.
cute?
Got the little axe and a sword. He's ready to fight. It's cute.
I'm gonna get him.
It's Fallout Boy with long hair and muscles. It's a little bit bizarre, actually.
I think the Mangaloid broke Rick.
Fallout Boy. Well, no, oh, you meant the Vault Boy.
The Vault Boy. Yes.
I
Sorry.
thought you meant like the band Fallout.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the lead singer does have like long blonde hair.
That's funny.
I was gonna go on a story about the band, and you two would have been like, "What is he going on about?" And I'm so glad that I didn't.
We would have been like, huh?
Yeah. Some new items at the shop. You can get the Hubris Comics display case for 250 atoms, the Hubris Comics wallpaper for 500 atoms. You can get the Grognak area rug, which is 300 atoms, the Grognak plushie for 300 atoms, and the Grognak posters for
I bought the posters.
250.
Do you like them?
You did?
I do, yeah.
Do you have them
I like
up?
Are they
them
like
a
old
lot.
comic book
I do,
posters?
yeah. It's the comic cover from Fallout 3.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Does it have like the little ripped corner on the top?
There's
Or-
one version that's a little rougher looking and
Yeah.
one version that's cleaner looking.
Ah,
And I hung the cleaner looking version in my little pink
As
house.
you do.
naturally.
As you do.
Naturally.
Mhm.
Speaking of things making a return, such as the cover of Grognak Comic Book 3, I think you said it was. Anyway, some items are coming back to the Atom Shop. You can get the Unstoppables outfit bundle for 1,440 atoms. You can get the scrap kit times 20 and the repair kit times 20 for 1,000 atoms. 1,000 atoms? Yeah, I said that right. And then you can get the Down Home Dweller bundle for 1,000 atoms. Then you can get the Garahan Extractor Excavator Power Armor Paint for 800 atoms. I added an extra armor because it sounded funnier. You can get the Plague Doctor mask for 400 atoms.
I wonder if that will sell out.
I think it would be hilarious if everyone started wearing it.
Do you think there are crews in the FO universe that are just running around with masks? Probably.
Gosh, I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah.
Like put upon responders that are just trying their best.
Yeah. All
You
in
can
good
get the
taste,
hero-
of course.
Of course. You can get the hero statue for 500 atoms, and these have some discounts, so you can save some atoms. Silver Shroud plushie, 180 atoms, which is 40% off. Actually, all these are 40% off their normal price. Heroic photo mode pose, 150, marked down to 90 atoms. And the Unstoppables bed, 300 atoms, marked down to 180. Things that are headed for default, and you won't be able to get them anymore until they bring it back again. So you've got 2 days. You've just got 2 days to get these limited time, limited quantity digital items.
Until they come back.
Until they come back. Control C, Control V, people. Corvega turret skin, 30% off at 490 atoms. You get the Arctos excavator power armor paint, 30% off for 560 atoms. You get the I Survived Vault 76 photo mode frame, 35 atoms. You get the, and all these are 5 atoms. The Dweller 01 icon, the Dweller 02 icon, the Dweller 03 icon, the Dweller 04 icon,
Painful.
the Dweller 05 icon, and the Dweller 06 icon. You can get those all for 5 atoms.
But wait, there's more.
There is more. There's some weekly offers. You can get the Grognak costume, 20% off at 640 atoms. That's available until March 10th. This you cannot get, the basic power armor paint set. Can't get it anymore, folks. You have until tomorrow to get the White Spring carpet. Who would put white carpet in there?
No, White
Yeah.
Spring.
It's green.
It's
From
the
the
green
White
with the
Spring.
design on it.
Okay, so you can get the White Spring carpet until March 7th, and that is 320 atoms. You can get the Vault Tech Camp bundle until March 8th, and that's 600 atoms, and the Vault Tech starter bundle, 750 atoms, and that's available until March 10th. And I'm very disappointed that no atoms were 350 because I was going to use a Tree Fitty. I was going to say Tree Fitty every time something was 350.
Sorry to let you down there.
Those are all the bargains.
Wow. And so, Shalene, you got the Grognak and the posters.
I did. I got the Grognak bundle and the Grognak posters.
Is there anything that
I
you...
spent all of my Fallout First Trust Fund atoms like the first day.
Oh, Is there anything you have your eye on?
Not really. I'm pretty satisfied for now.
Yeah, I gotta find some sort of lucrative business in the Fallout universe that makes me lots of atoms.
Yeah,
don't know
doing
what
the
that would be.
challenges is pretty productive.
Yeah, daily challenges and things like that, weekly challenges.
Yeah, I did 1 day worth of focusing on challenges, and I'm back up to almost 500 atoms.
Hey, that's
so.
pretty
Easy.
good.
The easiest way to get atoms, I hear, is just to spend money.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about our games. So, what do you guys been playing? Been playing some stuff? Nothing? No one?
Who you throwing it to?
Anyone? Rick, I doubt that you've played
Anyone?
anything related Fallout. Have you?
I have.
Have you?
Been playing Hunt, and that's
It's kind of
zombie-related.
apocalyptic. Yeah, talk about
Of
it.
course, it's
Tell us about it.
apocalyptic.
Actually,
There's
we've
a
talked about
virus
it on that Fallout show before. So, yeah.
Why are you saying it like I wasn't supposed to talk about it on this show? We've
Me?
had private discussions.
No, that's
Not that private of discussion.
I
see,
forgot.
thought you were emphasizing that Fallout show.
No,
as in,
no.
this
We're
is
talking about Fallout, not
Yeah.
just the game. Just yeah. That apocalyptic show.
No, that Fallout show's fine. So there's been a virus fallout because apparently it's some sort of virus that's screwed up this Louisiana bayou. And I've been playing a lot of Hunt with some friends, and we had one. And some games go pretty good. Some games go horribly bad. Like when someone shoots and kills another hunter in the middle of an open field, and then they go, "I'm gonna go loot their body," and don't think about other people like maybe waiting for you to go loot their body and
Uh,
headshot you when you're
yeah.
looting the body.
That's like classic PUBG 101. Come on.
Mhm.
So but beyond that, we had this one game. So every match lasts about an hour. And if you're playing triples, there are 3 people on a team, there are 9 people. So what's that? 4 teams?
9 people would be 3 teams of 3.
It's 12 people. So it's 4 teams of 3.
Math
And,
is a wonderful thing. Ding, ding.
and so the 3 of us are 3 of us are moving in on this like compound, and it's a mixture of like water, which all the water is like waist high. So when you run into it, you walk slowly, and it's just loud. So if you're like, guys, let's sneak up. So like it's really hard to like maneuver quietly in a place that's kind of filled with water. There are 2 buildings that have 3 floors. And then a couple of smaller buildings. There's a pier, and then there's like the water below it. So there's like basically 4 planes that you can be on, and various places to hide. And so what happened was a team of 3 banished the big bad at this place. And 2 other teams, or 3 other teams, I don't know how many, but I think 2 other teams decided to try to get the bounty from this other team that was there. And then we also tried to do the same. And so what ensued was about a half an hour of a few people taking pot shots and skirmishes. And so
What are pot shots?
pot shots, just like kind of pot shots at random people.
Oh,
like just
okay.
kind of not good lined up ones. So
Yeah.
there's one, so you got the compound. I've got someone on the north side of the compound. My other teammate's kind of like looking at the center, and I'm flanking up the left. And we can hear footsteps. We hear people shooting at each other. And we're just kind of like biding time. There's a big giant dude with a machete walking around. So like you're trying to listen, but then you hear like him breathing and stomping around.
And that's
There's
like an
water
NPC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's water monsters in the water that jiggle and make it sound like something's in the water. So like it's really hard to figure out what's a human and what's an NPC.
Well, and you've said before that this game is all about listening.
Yes, yeah. And then sometimes it gets noisy, and you're like, I don't know what any of this is.
You have to filter it out.
Yeah, it's real tough. So I'm sneaking around this corner. I'm on the bottom. I'm like next to the water, sneaking around like some of the piers and stuff, like the supports that are holding up the pier. I'm sneaking around below those. And I see somebody on this island looking towards the building with the bounty in it, and where the other 2 or 3 guys are, and they haven't picked up the bounty yet. So they're letting it sit on the ground, and they're just kind of waiting to see what happens. And I see this person lining up a shot on this island, and they don't see me. So I'm like, bang, headshot. Yes. Rack around in. I like hunker back. I wait. I'm listening. I don't hear anything. Maybe like 5 minutes later, I hear somebody walking through the water, and I look out, and his teammate is running across the water to revive him. So I land 2 shots on him, and I don't down him, but I move so they don't see me. And at that point, I spend the next 10 minutes freaking out because I hear footsteps on the pier above me. I'm just like, oh no, don't come down here. Don't come down here. Because all I have is like a long range bolt action and like some dunky pistol. I'm just like, just don't come down. I'm screwed, I make it into another building, and I see somebody across the way. I shoot them through the window. I don't know if I down them. If I do down them, their person got back up. And so there's some skirmishes, some other stuff, and we're all just kind of sitting and waiting. And then somebody picks up a bounty and then runs off to the south. So one of my teammates chases them. Me and my remaining teammate are looking for the other dude with a bounty, and we're using like our powers to like see vaguely where the bounty is located.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, he should be right in the middle of that lake, like right in the middle of that bayou. Like that's where it has to be. But usually there's an icon that shows like if it's dropped. I was like, I swear it's there. So I like run past this like water monster real quick and get on the island. I look, and somebody had dropped the bounty that we had been looking for 10 minutes. It's right there. We can just go pick it up. So I pick up the bounty. Our teammate who ran after the other dude died by NPCs, and the dude escaped. And so we're like, there's no teams left. It's just the 3 of us. And there's 2 big bads on this map. And the other big bad hasn't even been tangled with yet. So we're like, how much time do we have left? 10 minutes out of an hour because we spent like 50 minutes, like 40 minutes in this like one area having this really tense fight. And we're like, all right, let's go get our boy. Let's res him, and then we'll go kill the butcher. And the butcher's this giant, huge beast with a pig head and like this weird like stick rack behind him that has like dead birds hanging off of it
Ew.
and like a butcher cloak. Yeah, he squeals like a pig, and then
Gross.
eventually you shoot his head off, and he's like running around like crazy. Anyway,
So basically,
So-
me when I get up in the morning,
um,
with dead birds
So-
hanging off me.
so we go down and we find the butcher. We get all the clues. I res my buddy, and we find the butcher, and we kill the butcher. And while he's banishing, we look at the clock. We're like, we've got 5 minutes to get out of here, and we still have to banish this thing, and it takes a while to banish him. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and clear the road south to the extraction point because I've already got a bounty. I can't take another one. And
Mm.
he's going to drop only 2 bounties, and you 2 get him. So, so I run down south. I find a path that's the quickest to the extraction point, and I get to the extraction point, and I wait outside of the extraction point so I don't leave without him. And so they get they banish the dude, they get the bounties, they run straight to me, and then we all exit the map together.
Nice.
Nice.
So we got all the bounties. We got what's called a clean sweep. If there's 2 big bads in one map and you get bounties from both of them, you clean sweep the board
Nice.
while killing like 4 other hunters, I think. So like we just got this huge XP boost.
It's
And
fantastic.
And
So-
again, whenever this happens, we're like never playing this character again. They're just gonna
Ugh.
skip the corner, leveled up, and
Yeah.
we're gonna get another character.
Jeez. So what is the currency?
It's just in-game money. There's blood bonds, which are currency you can buy with real currency, but it's pretty easy to earn in-game. And then there's normal in-game currency. Blood bonds are only used to buy legendary items, which are just skins.
Mm.
And they're used to clean up your guns because when you buy a gun, it's dirty.
Right.
So it's used to clean it. It doesn't do anything for the
I
gun.
was gonna say, is that strictly cosmetic?
Yes, it is.
The gun doesn't
Um,
perform better.
And then adding like other, so you start out with like you're able to hire up to 5 bounty hunters. Blood bonds allows you to buy other slots, which is fine, I guess. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty well balanced how they have that.
Cool.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about, there was one other match, and it happened last night. And I'm starting to get this problem where I get really competitive and I get snippy when I get competitive. So I've got to watch that.
You no.
Yes, oh, I do. Because here's when my adrenaline gets going. Here's what happened. So there's this fort, and we were kind of working our way up to it. And I'm like, I know there's people coming from this. I know there's people coming from this other area, and there's hellhounds in front of me. Which hellhounds are the worst things in this stupid game. They're just hounds that bite you and they make you bleed. So when they hit you, they do damage, and they make you bleed, and they're hard to kill. And so these 3, no, it was duos. I was only playing with one other person this time, so it was only duos. So 2 people run up through the swamp. I take a couple shots at them, but I've only got this like single shot rifle and a single shot shotgun, so I'm not really doing a lot. I hit one of them, and they run in the fort. The hellhounds come at me, and I'm able to kill them without them hitting me, which is great. So my buddy sneaks up on the right side of the fort. I move around to the left, and I'm working my way inside this fort. And as I'm working in here, I hear somebody stepping on glass. And I'm like, he's to my left. And then I look up on top of the fort wall, and it's a zombie. And I'm like, all right, so I don't have to deal with him. And then I hear my buddy say, they're over here next to me. I'm going to need you. And I'm like, all right. So I'm working my way over. I get to the second floor of like this, there's like 2 towers in the middle. I get to the second floor of that. And I look down, and there's a dude on the bottom ground with a silenced rifle. Bang! Headshot. I'm like, woo! Reload. Good. So one's down. There's one more to go. Next thing I know, I hear this bang, and my buddy drops. I'm like, crap. And he's like, he's over near me. So I run across to the other tower, and I look out the window, and I see this dude running up towards my tower. And I'm like, crap, he's coming in. And I throw a Molotov out, and I didn't get him. So I go down to the bottom floor, and there's this other dude that I didn't see before. I blew him away with a shotgun. And I'm like, whew, I was just pop the corner. There's this dude in a trench coat, blew him away with a shotgun. I'm reloading. I'm like, awesome. Wait, that's 3 different people. are we on triples? Like, are there teams of 3 maybe? And he's like, I don't know. All right. So I see the other dude, bam, shotgun. I hit him, but he doesn't drop because I'm a little too far away. So I turn around, run out the door. And I see this, as I run out the door, I see this zombie running around the tower towards this other guy who went into the door behind me, or went into the door that I shot him through to chase me. So I'm like, okay, I reload my shotgun and go back in the door I just came out of, like doubling back. And he ran past me at the same time I saw him, and I fired and missed. And I turned around, and like my screen is like looking at his back. And so like I grabbed my knife out real quick, and I'm like, and stab him with the knife and kill him. I'm like, woo, woo, woo. Like, because it was just like, if I don't pull this out, we're screwed, you know. And I slice him right in the back, and he drops down dead. And I'm like, oh, it's just like super dramatic. It's like so easy to die in this game, you know. And it's like you're dealing with like one shot guns, so you're like, bang. You know, they're old guns. They don't reload fast. And so it's a really strange game when you're like when you're like fighting someone head on and you're using single action revolvers, bang,
yeah,
bang, but you're like moving real quick. It's a real calculated kind of like
really kind of slows it down a bit. Hey,
it does, but in a weird clunky way that feels like, oh, this feels realistic, because like we're used, you shoot with a Springfield trapdoor rifle and you fire and you flip the trapdoor up and it flies. Well, first you have to cock the hammer back halfway, then flip the trapdoor up, and then put your round in, and then drop the trapdoor, and then cock the gun all the way back. Then it's ready to fire. This is the gun I'm using. So I kill this third guy, and I run over to my buddy and res him. And I'm like, man, I can't, like, I'm shaking a little. So I'm like, whoo, like that's, whew. So we're running out of this fort, and all of a sudden, bang, I get shot from behind, and I like sprint and drop behind this cover, and I hear boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what the frick is going on? And he's like, turns out there was 2 teams here. And I look up over this cover, and my buddy's alive, and he blew someone away because apparently I walked past an outhouse that he was walking up towards.
Oh,
Sees
wow.
the door open.
Oh God.
Because this dude was hiding in an outhouse waiting to ambush us. And he
That
shot
is
me, and then my buddy just
awesome.
walked up with a pistol and went bang, 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 and just lit him up.
Wow.
So I'm like, whew. And that round ended up pretty bad because we were going to intercept the 2 people that got the bounty. And I took one out. And at that point, I had like 1 bar of health. So I basically would get a body shot and die. So I'm trying to be real careful. My buddy doesn't have a good line of sight on him. I kill one, and I move around to kill another one. He ended up rezzing his buddy. Because I got hit by a zombie and was bleeding. So before I bled out, I had to heal, and he rezzed his buddy in that time. So they kind of ran up around us, and then he ended up shooting me with a rifle. So it was just like a bad, end around. But we killed. The cool thing about it is if you down someone and they get rezzed, that still counts as a kill for you.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
So we
that
ended
you
up
still get
getting
those
like,
points.
because we killed him, So it was nice that we got 5 hunter kills that round.
500?
5 hunter.
Oh.
Hunter. So we killed
Sorry,
5
I
other
gotta
hunters
check
and
my
like
battery.
43 grunts, or like 43 zombies. So we ended up doing a good points haul that one, but
Sounds
we
like you
didn't
really
survive the
enjoy
round.
this game.
Oh, it's so good.
It's
I
enjoy
inspired me to
hearing
buy real life versions of the guns in the game.
I enjoy hearing the stories. I enjoy the stories.
Yeah, so that's all I've been playing is Hunt.
What about you, Shalene?
I have played a bit of Fallout 76 lately. So let's see here. I tried a new event recently that I had never done before. I had hopped into Fallout with Archin, and he's like, "Hey, let's go do this this quest over here." I'm like, "Okay, let's go do it." And it is called Census Violence, which I noticed because it's census time. Everybody's hiring census takers, and
That's awesome.
Nice.
yeah, it's that time of year. And I'd never done this one before. I was like, "Hey, I've never done this. What is it?" And he explains that you talk to the robot. The robot is the census taker, and the robot has his census report, but it doesn't match the data in the area. So you have to make the census report match the data by killing creatures,
Oh, that's funny.
which to me is some classic Fallout nonsense.
Right.
That's just, it's beautiful. It's
Mhm.
beautiful. I loved it. So we had to kill things to make the census report match.
Did you finish the quest?
We did. Yeah, we
Nice.
did. It wasn't a very hard quest.
Mm.
It was just, I thought that was the funniest concept. I thought that was, in terms of humor, I thought that was on the same kind of line as the DMB quest.
Well, and
You know,
it's a
it's-
little bit it's a
Yeah.
little bit funny because the whole purpose of a census is to count those who are alive, but if you're
Yeah.
killing them, it's not
Well, you
that
know,
accurate.
there were too many creatures. There were more creatures in the area than there were on the report.
Right.
So instead of modifying the report, well,
Oh, I see.
we've got to make it match. We got to kill these creatures.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really funny. That was some peak Fallout nonsense, in my opinion.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then a couple of days ago, I jumped on, and I was playing with Archon, and I went in the Atom Shop to look at all this new Atom Shop stuff, and I saw the Grognak bundle and the Grognak posters and all of the Grognak amazingness. I was like, oh gosh, how much Atom do I want to spend on this Grognak stuff? And I was just going through it all, trying to pick what I wanted, and I ended up buying the whole bundle. And just spending all of my trust fund atoms right away in one whack there. I bought the bundle, I bought the posters. I was really excited about it. But I did waffle a bit on whether or not I wanted the whole bundle. What I really wanted was the outfit, namely the headband. I wanted Jim Justice to have that glorious headband. He's going to look great. I knew it. And but I thought, you know, well, this throne is really cool, but what am I going to do with it? I mean, it's this huge throne. It's going to look stupid in my little pink house. Like, what am I going to do with this? But I ended up purchasing the bundle. And you know those rocks that are right behind my house?
Mm-hmm.
They make a great place to put a throne, as it so happens. Yeah. So I put my throne up there, and I put on my new Grognak outfit, which is all like leather straps and like a skull for a belt buckle. And
Jeez.
yes, Jim Justice with his pink hair and his eyeliner looks quite fabulous. In his little Grognak headband, he looks glorious. And so then Archon and I spent some time doing a little photo shoot. He has the original Grognak outfit,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to do a photo shoot, and he decided to humor me and join me for photo shoot time, which is nice.
Nice.
And we did a lot of poses. It was fun. Took some pictures. It was fabulous. And then we're like, okay, let's move on with our lives, play some video game. And Archon asks me, like, what do you want to do? And I told him, you know, I don't really care. I just, whatever is fine. You can do whatever you want to do. And he tells me, so do you want to just have like a nice casual day, just relax, have a nice relaxing casual time? I'm
Archon?
like, yeah, that sounds fine. Yeah, that
Like,
sounds
no
really
quests?
nice. Yeah, he tells
No
me, like, yeah,
checklists.
you just want to have a casual, relaxed time.
Huh.
I tell him, yeah, that actually sounds perfect today. That's exactly perfect. And he says, okay, that's what we'll do. And I turn around, and he's wearing the bathrobe and slippers.
Oh.
It was all a big setup.
It was
for
a
his
front.
outfit reveal.
Amazing.
Gosh.
It was fantastic.
Because the whole time you're thinking this is so uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
Like, this is totally not Archon. This is not how he plays.
And that was absolutely what I wanted that day. Like, I just needed to relax.
No.
You know, I just needed to chill. I'm like, yeah, that
Oh.
sounds great, Archon. I'd love that. And I turn around, and there he is in his bathrobe and slippers.
Gosh.
That bathrobe outfit is so rare. He's been looking for it for ages. So that was all the setup to show me that he had gotten the bathrobe.
Gosh.
I loved. I thought that was really funny.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I have the settee, you know, in the corner. I have the chaise longue. And I was like, I wish that we could sit on that, like drape ourselves across this piece of furniture,
Right.
you know, the way you should, because that's the picture
Rather than
I feel
just
like
sitting
I need
on
to
it,
take in your
like-
bathrobe.
And the pose
and
is
so
in the
he
game.
did the photo mode pose, like laying on.
Oh, really?
Was that going to be your question, Rick?
No, I was gonna say that if you remember the chick from the memory den,
Yes, yes.
she's laying on a sage
Irma, I
lounge.
think was her name.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he did the laying down pose. I had a really hard time trying to like get the picture so it didn't show his underpants. Because you know, you got to be considerate of people's privacy. But
Right.
it was really fun. It was really fun. We had a lot of photo shoot shenanigans, and then we ran around in Archon's bathrobe and my little strappy
Mhm.
grognak suit.
Uh-oh.
And
you
it
are.
was ridiculous. It was just so ridiculous. We went to this one town. I forget the name of it. I want to say it starts with an L. I can never remember the name of that town. But there were 3 scorch beasts there. So that was some shenanigans.
Oof.
Yeah, 3 scorch beasts. It was a lot. 3 scorch beasts, and they all had their own separate set of minions, and it was a lot. But we had a good time. We just chilled out, did some events, ran around in our casual wear, and it was fun. I'm still enjoying the game. Still looking forward to Wastelanders. Lewisburg, thank you, Archie.
Lewisburg.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't play any video games that were, I would say, apocalyptic Fallout kind of related. But I did do the next recipe that I had promised you guys to do in that official Fallout cookbook by Victoria Rosenthal, which, as you recall, was the potatoes with the blue cheese.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, hold the blue cheese. Sorry, but not a fan of blue cheese, so I left that out of the recipe, and I forgot to load my
blue
images.
cheese is gross.
I forgot to load my
What?
images, so I got this giant thing of potatoes. Hold on here. Okay, so you guys know how easy it is to make potatoes, right? It's like really easy to make mashed potatoes, probably one of the easiest things in the world.
Yeah.
So it was really easy to make. And I have 2 pictures. That's it. Basically, this one where I whipped them using the KitchenAid mixer, which was awesome. And here is the finished product.
That looks delicious. I really want mashed potatoes now.
And Rick, I took your
Instant
advice and
mash.
added a little bit extra butter. So it's very good. Very, very good. Yeah, they're quite nice. I like the well, the recipe calls for a rosemary sprig, but I didn't have any rosemary, and I didn't add the blue cheese because I'm not a fan of the blue cheese. So, they also call for fresh parsley, which I added, and she says minced in the recipe, but I actually like pulverized it using the mortar and pestle because I didn't want it to really show in the potatoes, because I wanted them to be just really white and fluffy. So, turned out really good. So those are the
Nice.
potatoes, and now we're ready for the next recipe. Are you ready?
I can't wait.
Fancy lad snack cakes.
Ooh.
That sounds fantastic.
Look at them.
Are these going to be like petit fours?
I think, I don't know. It's just
Gonna be like what?
it's
Petit fours, little cakes.
yeah, it's kind of like that. It's basically cake, and then there's a marshmallow filling and a white frosting.
Okay.
So those will be difficult. Those will be hard to make. That will take me some time because I have to bake the cake, make the icing, put it all together. But I'm sure it'll be delicious. I've been looking forward to this recipe, actually. I'm a big fan of just plain vanilla icing, so that
what's
is
delicious?
TFS nailed it. What?
You know, it's delicious, Vendor.
What?
If you have vanilla icing left over, take animal crackers, dip that shiz.
Oh yeah. Animal
that shit.
crackers. Yeah. Anyways, that's our gameplay. Are you guys ready to talk about our main segment for the show tonight? So as you guys know, we decided that we were going to cover the coronavirus. This is our special segment, COVID-19 and you.
I like that. I like it.
It's commonly called coronavirus, but the World Health Organization has changed the language to COVID-19 because SARS and MERS and those are both considered coronaviruses as well. So they didn't
Oh,
want to
interesting.
create that confusion.
Oh.
What now? What does coronavirus mean then? Is that part of? Am I skipping ahead?
I get it when I
No,
drink too much
actually, I don't
Corona.
really have. I can't tell you specifically what the meaning of the name is itself. But I know that it is. It comes from a strain of bats, I believe, or it's
Okay.
like in the family of bats or something.
Yeah. I found it all a little bit disturbing hearing all of this talk about coronavirus
Yeah,
because I live in a town called Corona. And
Uh-oh.
right. So
yeah.
naturally, it is the talk of the town.
Came from
Um,
you.
Before we do begin, so I'm taking this segment because it's kind of my area a little bit. I would say I do have to disclaim that I'm not a licensed physician. So any medical advice that we give on the show this evening is directly from credible sources like the World Health Organization or the CDC, etc. So, yeah. So I thought I would just start by talking about like what the heck a virus is. What do you guys think? What do you guys think a virus is? What do you think?
That's
What are your first
when your
thoughts?
computer shuts down.
I mean,
Ransomware?
yeah, absolutely.
Ransomware?
In the biological world, however, viruses are considered small infectious pathogens that have the ability to replicate inside of a cell in an organism. So this could be a plant, an animal, or a human, even. Viruses can infect all types of life and even bacteria. And the evolution of the virus itself is still actually unknown. We don't really know where they originated from. Some of the theories, people think that they've arisen from bacteria. Others think that they've originated from small pieces of DNA called plasmids. But that's kind of
Like
where
from
we're.
BioShock
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
plasmids.
little tiny plasmids. Yeah,
Maybe it came
and
from the melting ice.
the thing about viruses is that they carry DNA with them. And when they get inside the cell, they basically reprogram the cell to cause the cell to die. And what happens then is when cell death starts occurring in large numbers, that's when you start to get that immune response and your body starts to try to attack the virus. But what happens is sometimes it attacks you instead. And that's the whole purpose of what viruses are supposed to do. So, yes. So they're quite bad. How do they spread, though? Viruses can spread in many, many different ways. Transmission through mostly disease bearing organisms, animals, plants, and humans. They're known as vectors. So there is this thing that they teach us in school. It's called the epidemiological triad. So basically, there is. I have a picture here for our online people. So basically, let's say malaria, for example. Malaria is, we know, is a virus. It's very rampant in South Africa, but there are certain conditions that a virus needs to be able to spread and thrive. And the first is the environment, of course. So South Africa is the environment, the vector, which would be the mosquito, the agent, which is the virus itself, and then lastly, the host, which would be us, which we carry the virus, we become infected, we spread it to other people. So that's kind of how you can kind of think about how viruses work. They don't just, float through the air and you breathe them in and suddenly you have the virus. There's many ways in which a virus can travel through some organism to get to you and make you sick. So once the virus is inside its host, it undergoes replication and it basically reprograms those cells that it targets to trigger that immune response, as I mentioned. And our body's natural defense against fighting an infection could be fever, cough, sneezing, sweating, frequent urination, diarrhea, bleeding, etc. And in some instances, we're actually incapable of fighting off an infection or a specific virus, like that of the coronavirus, which is of unknown origin. And our ability to fight off those viruses is largely dictated by the strength of the virus, the conditions in which the virus was propagated or spread, and also our immune system response to it. And this is the whole reason why vaccines are so important. This is why we depend on them. But some viruses can actually lay dormant, so you can be a carrier for a virus. These are called latent viruses. They don't have any changes. They don't really make cells change their behavior at all, and they don't show any signs or symptoms within the person who is infected. These can cause persistent infections over a long period of time, such as herpes or shingles. Shingles is another one that's you can have it for 20 years and never show any sort of signs or symptoms. But so, yeah, that's kind of the background around how viruses work. And how do we study them? How do we study disease? And that's kind of where my background comes in, epidemiology, which is basically the study of disease in populations. And there's a really interesting story that I wanted to share with you guys. So John Snow, nothing John Snow. John Snow was this anesthesiologist in London during the cholera outbreak. And he had this theory that cholera was caused by something different than what the politicians and the public had all thought about. And that was that they said that it was something that was in the air that was causing people to get sick. And they called it a miasma, so basically air pollution. And they suspected that people that lived in lower-lying areas were more susceptible because they were the ones that were getting sick, and that's where the most pollution was. So he took it upon himself to conduct the first randomized control study or trial, and he went door to door to 40-some thousand homes in London by himself and interviewed and examined people who were sick with cholera. And what he found from that was that it was the groundwater that was contaminated. And he led it back through trials in his study, he led it back to the Broad Street pump, which was everybody was getting their water from. And so he is now kind of known as one of the founding fathers of epidemiology. And it was really cool because when I was in London, I actually walked like 10 blocks to go see this pump. And when I got there, it was under construction and all boarded up and I couldn't see it. And I was so upset. But yeah, it was kind of like my paying homage to it. But yeah, so anyways, on to plagues and pandemics and epidemics and all the bad things that are happening. I just wanted to kind of distinguish between what a pandemic is and what an epidemic is. Do you guys have any kind of idea?
Not really, no.
Great. So an endemic is something that happens in like an old folks home or like on a cruise ship. An epidemic is classified as an outbreak, and that occurs in a large region. So Wuhan, for example, epidemic. A pandemic is a series of epidemics that are spread across continents. So once it leaves one continent and goes to the other, it becomes a pandemic, but only if it becomes an epidemic where it moved to. So in the US, for example, we aren't seeing any outbreaks. There's no epidemic in the US as of yet, so we can't technically classify it as a pandemic. So if you read in the media that it's like, oh, it's a pandemic, it's killing millions of people, it's not a pandemic yet. It's not a pandemic. So yeah, so I just wanted to kind of like clarify that so that you guys can be like, hey, it's not a pandemic. I know. I've listened to that Fallout show. But there's been a lot of plagues and pandemics in human history. Are you guys familiar with you probably heard some of these, like cholera, of course, the Black Death. Familiar with the Black Death?
Yeah.
So the Black Death is actually known to be the most lethal of all plagues in human history. Death toll about 75 to 200 million people. Swine flu. HIV/AIDS pandemic reached its peak around 2005 to 2012, killing about 36 million. The flu pandemic, 1968, killed about 1 million. Asian flu, 2 million in 1956 to 1958. The flu pandemic, which is widely considered the Spanish flu, back in 1918, killed about 20 to 50 million. as well as some of the older plagues, like the Antonine plague in 165 AD killed about 5 million. They suspect, and they don't know what the cause from that was, but they suspect smallpox or measles or something like that. But interestingly enough, the death toll on some of these plagues have become a lot less as time has gone on. Maybe not in the case of HIV/AIDS, but flu specifically, and that's because we have better healthcare. We know more about these viruses, and we have just a better understanding of how to handle epidemics and these catastrophic events throughout the world. So that's kind of a history of plagues. And a little bit of a backgrounder before we hop into COVID-19. So, what do you guys kind of know about coronavirus so far? What are your thoughts? What are your takes on it?
Okay, all I know is that people are freaking out and buying all the toilet paper. That's
Yep.
pretty much covered. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. We're all gonna die. That's right.
That's
That
the
pretty
mentality.
much covers it. Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you what were you gonna say, Rick?
No, I was gonna say, I think my take on this whole thing is it's kind of a media frenzy, and it's worse than like the avian flu or the what was the bird flu or the other one you mentioned, SARS and MERS. But I am thoroughly taken aback by how much freak out there's been. But my gut feeling is that it's not warranted. Like, all of the freak out's not warranted. Some is, but I don't know.
So, okay. So, with respect to the virus itself, we first knew about it at the end of December of last year. Samples were collected from patients who were suspected to have pneumonia from an unknown origin. And after conducting assays to test the genomes of these patients, they found that they were testing positive for what they considered to be a pan-beta coronavirus, which is sort of in the SARS-like strain of coronaviruses. So naturally, they were very concerned because when SARS happened, it was a very big deal, right? And in hindsight, SARS had nowhere near as big of an impact as coronavirus has had so far. I think the total number of cases for SARS was around 8,000.
Oh wow! So it's much
significantly
more than that.
less. Yeah.
It's like 101,000 confirmed for
I'm
COVID already?
I'm not sure. The numbers are changing by the hour every day. So, but so far, the World Health Organization put out a great report, a really comprehensive report that said, as of February 20th, 2020, among the 55,924 confirmed cases reported, the median age or average age was 51 years, with the majority of cases being between 30 and 69 years. And among those cases, 51% about are male, and 77% were from Hubei province, and 21.6% were farmers or laborers by occupation. They did determine that it is a zoonotic virus, which basically means that it can go from animals to humans. And further analysis showed that the three important areas of work that are underway in China to inform our understanding about the virus specifically involves early investigation of cases with symptoms, environmental sampling of the suspected place where the virus originated from, which they think was the Hunan wholesale seafood market and other area markets, and thirdly, the collection of detailed records on wildlife within the area. So that's kind of how they arrived at, how did this really come about? In terms of routes of transmission, what we do know is that COVID-19 is transmitted via droplet and fomites during close, unprotected contact with other people. So Airborne spread has not really been reported for COVID-19, and it's not believed to be a major driver. So if you think that you're on, if you're on a airplane or you're in a train or something, and you're scared because somebody's coughing on the other end, and you're scared that you're breathing their air, the chances are very low of you contracting the virus. The virus itself is actually really heavy. It's a really heavy molecule. So when a person does cough and it does aerosolize, it typically will fall to the ground very quickly. And that's why they're saying that it's spread via droplet, because you literally have to be like right in front of somebody to be able to, they have to like sneeze all over your face or something. So, or
That's
touching
very
them.
interesting.
Yeah, which leads me to household transmission. And this is where the Chinese health authorities are suspecting are producing the greatest number of cases is in situations where people are in clusters. So in the home, of course, if you have somebody who is sick, human-to-human transmission is more common in families. So they've been investigating a lot of different clusters of families within China as well. And I mean, they need to continue with testing, of course. I think so far, the number of cases rises. They suspect that the virus itself has a pretty long incubation period. But interestingly enough, the data is showing that most patients that become severely ill from the virus are older patients. People who are like 65 and above, but also have pre-existing medical conditions. So individuals who are who have some sort of pre-existing medical condition that could potentially weaken their immune system. So type 1 diabetes, for example, or diabetes in general, chronic kidney disease, COPD, I mean, any number of things. People who have just had surgery, people undergoing chemotherapy, those are all individuals who are at greater risk of contracting the virus, but also not being able to fight it off as well. So, yeah, and that's why they're pretty concerned. But generally, people who are in good health are able to fight off the virus just fine. And that's what we don't see in the media, is those stories of people who have come out of it and are fine. There's always that sort of, dooming thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they've said, over 1,000 deaths or something, and everyone freaks out. Or is it 3,000 now? I can't remember. But like, it's some large amount, and then everyone's, then you're there like, well, the other 97,000 are what, perpetually sick? They got better.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So, and that's exactly it, right? I mean, it's not. I don't think that it means that we should not worry. But I think that it is a general public health lesson for everybody moving forward that, we need to be mindful and understand that outbreaks can occur. And this is a virus that is more severe than SARS. So in the virus world, they have something called an R naught, or a reproductive number. And this is the number that's given to a virus that helps epidemiologists kind of understand how infective it is within a population. So a reproductive number of 2, or I believe the COVID-19 is around 2.5, 2.5 to 3, or 2 to 2.5 or something like that. That means that for every one person that's infected, they have the potential to infect 2.5 to 3 other people. And this is why hospitals are becoming super spreaders for this virus, because you have all of these people in close proximity. And the other part of it too is that when you see these videos of healthcare workers online in these full body suits and stuff, that's because they're in the hospital in this very concentrated environment of patients infected with the virus. And not only do they need to protect their own health, but they need to protect the
Other
health of
patients,
other
yeah.
patients. And if they're, if they're helping other patients or treating other patients, they don't want to spread the virus from one patient to the other through their own biological functioning, right? So, in the public setting, in the home, in the workplace, you don't need a full suit. You don't need a full suit to go through the airport. You don't need that. The likelihood of carrying a virus is still generally low in North America. And I think that it's important to rely on credible sources of information as well. I did want to mention about vaccines just quickly. We don't have a vaccine for COVID-19 yet. And I think it's important to recognize that there's a lot of research that's going on to try to develop a vaccine for COVID-19. Scientists and teams are anticipating that they will have phase 1 trials of vaccines early spring. But therapy consists of basically supportive care and different treatments, which we will touch on briefly as well. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that there's no vaccine as of yet. But I think this is important. Vaccines are, when we do have that, I think it could really help us bring that reproductive number down. The best way to know if you've controlled a disease within a population or controlled an outbreak is if you can get that reproductive number to 1, because that means that it's not spreading to anybody else. So you've basically virtually controlled the virus. But, yeah. How should countries really respond to the situation, though? I found a really cool...
Napalm, right?
I found a really cool article written by Bill Gates. He talks about how leaders should have 2 different responsibilities. 1, to solve immediate problems, and 2, to keep it from happening again. And he recommends that there's 2 reasons that COVID-19 is such a threat. First, it can kill healthy adults in addition to elderly people. Wrong, Bill Gates. That is wrong. He says, and then he adds, with existing health problems. But the data so far suggests that the virus has a case fatality of around 1%. That's more or less correct. It can be kind of more severe than typical influenza, which we already know. But I think that national, state, local governments really should be taking important steps to prevent the spread. And I think that really has to do with air travel. Flights should have been grounded a long time ago, in my opinion. But that has huge economic repercussions, right?
Right. Yeah.
But
and I work for real quick. I wanted to add, I work for a global company. We're everywhere, in your homes, in your lot. No, we are in major seaports. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
And due to something, I don't have email, but I asked a coworker. I was like, "Have we posted anything? Said hey, this is travel restricted?" Nope, we haven't. The company as a whole, which is based in England, hasn't said anything about it. So I just find that interesting. But yeah, I've kind of thought about it a little bit figures. I start working at an international company where we have people flying in from all over the world to our facility.
Yeah.
And then this happens.
I would be interested to see what proportion of people develop type 1 diabetes from getting the coronavirus. Because
is that a thing?
Yeah, so typically with type 1 diabetes, which is different than type 2. So type 2 diabetes usually comes with age, with health, that sort of thing. Type 1 diabetes is very abrupt and very unexpected, often linked to genetic traits, but also can be instigated by some sort of illness or stress on your body.
Huh.
Yeah.
That is fascinating. I thought that type 1 only manifested during youth.
Yes, most people think that you have it when you're born with it, but only about a quarter of cases of type 1 diabetes happen in babies. Yeah, so a lot of them happen approaching 20. Many happen after 20, after 30 even. So, yeah, but. Yeah, so I mean, lots of misconceptions, right, around health. And I did want to mention about the infodemic, as I like to call it, which is the spread of misinformation about this virus, which is just as viral as the virus, if not worse, as the virus itself. It's absolutely amazing to me how the media has totally destroyed the ability for humans to communicate effectively.
Except for this media, of course.
Well, of course. The Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick. Do you know Dr. Drew, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was on some morning America program kind of thing, and they're like, Dr. Drew, what do you think about the coronavirus and what do we need to do? He goes, the first thing you need to do is the media needs to shut up.
Yep, pretty much. Yep.
He's like, you need to stop, because he's like, we've had it was just funny because he's like, y'all need to just stop.
Yeah, I mean, false statements in media ranging from conspiracy theories that the virus was a man-made bioweapon to claiming that more than 100,000 people have died from the disease. Like,
right.
It's crazy. Oh, I heard that by April there's going to be 30 million people dead. Like that, get just go away. Just get out of here.
I actually heard from someone that they had heard there was going to be like martial law and a mandatory curfew. And
I mean, as bad as US healthcare is, and Canadian healthcare for that matter, we have the infrastructure in place to fight this and fight this well. And I don't foresee any sort of drastic government action that will be taken, like martial law. I highly doubt that will ever happen. But I mean, just going back to the whole bogus claims and false media and things like that, I think it's important to know that there's no vaccine, as I mentioned. Taking antibiotics will not help you because it's a virus. It's not a bacteria. You take antibiotics for bacteria. The current treatment is a lot like the flu. Limit public contact, drink plenty of fluids, get lots of rest. Avoid going to the clinic. Contact a HealthLink number in your local or state department where you can talk to a registered nurse over the phone. And if you are determined that you might have COVID-19, they suspect it, that's when they would proceed with testing and probably order self-isolation based on how severe your case is. But I do want to touch on, like, there's been like crazy things in the media about like claims about like coronavirus myths. So I have this awesome list. You guys are going to love this. So the first one, it's important to know that there's no treatment for medicines. Antibiotics won't help, as I mentioned. Though the virus is believed to have originated in bats, there's no actual evidence that meat eating is linked to coronavirus. And you cannot get it from your pets, people. You can't get it from your dog. It's okay.
Good thing, 'cause I like to let my dog lick me all over the face.
There is no evidence that cats or dogs can get infected or give the virus to their owners, so you don't have to worry about that.
By the way, Vendor, I love the ads that you're getting on this article. Oh, it's
terrible.
Already.
They're sunglasses.
I looked at him like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. The next thing, the virus is very fragile outside the human body, which means that you can't get it from a package or an envelope.
Yeah, the post office sent out a mailing that we should not be afraid to handle packages.
No, yeah.
So my sunglasses are clear.
Public health experts point out that the virus can live for only a few hours on hard surfaces, and the only way it's being spread is among people through close contact via droplet. So that's not to say that it can't live on hard surfaces. It can live for a few hours. So if you're in your home and you're living with somebody who has coronavirus, it's important to make sure that you clean doorknobs, common contact points, that sort of thing. But you can't get it from your packages. Don't worry about that. The next thing, it's not like the seasonal flu. Evidence so far suggests that it is actually more deadly. It has about a 2.3% death rate, according to the numbers gathered by the Chinese CDC, and which is a much higher than the seasonal death rate for the flu, which is about 0.1%. And that's why public health experts are concerned. Because elderly people, individuals who are immune compromised, this is where, We need the help. Rick, you're so terrible. Says humans need a good culling. I mean, I don't disagree with you on that one, but
Darwin, come, Darwin. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. The next one on my list, Miracle Mineral
Schleen's
Solution.
face-palmed.
Have you guys heard of Miracle Mineral Solution?
I don't know, but there's a meme going around where like the Bane meme where he's got his hands wide, like "Come at me, bro," and Bane said something like on top of Bane it says COVID-19, and in front of him is this like person in like this pink silk suit, and it says like Karen with like lavender oil or something like that. Like I'm gonna fight you with
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, it's funny.
So online, you can purchase Miracle Mineral Solution to combat the coronavirus. It's industrial bleach. It is dangerous, and it will hurt you.
It's industrial bleach?
Essentially,
take
yes.
A little drop of this and go right in the mouth.
And people are consuming it?
Miracle Mineral Solution, or as it is known online, MMS, is a solution of 28% sodium chlorite in distilled water, which is basically
what?
bleach.
Let it go. There's some times where I'm like, if your stupidity kills you,
hey man, I believe Darwin.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's one that the World Health Organization is making a particular point on. But they do say that you can use bleach and chlorine-based disinfectants, of course.
in your eyes.
Yeah, we use them to disinfect things.
Not to drink
Like
it.
your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it disinfects the countertop, it'll disinfect my esophagus.
Just swish and spit.
Oh God! It's one way to die, man.
Yeah.
You can purify water with a couple drops of Clorox. That is a thing.
I would never do that.
Yeah, I
You
would
know what
never
would be
do
really
that.
Cool. I wonder, vendor, like, do you know those backpacking pens that they're like
The filters?
for yeah?
I've got
not-
one. They're great.
You think that would work for like if you were nervous about your water?
I don't know. I don't know how
Okay.
I don't know how small coronavirus is that it would filter out a virus. Those filters are really more for large bacteria and sediment that's in streams and things like that.
I just was curious.
Yeah, viruses are a lot smaller, lot smaller.
Itty bitty living space.
Next thing on my list, algae is not a treatment for the coronavirus.
Really?
These are actual myths, okay? These
Oh
are
my
actual things that
gosh.
people, yeah. People are saying that there's some evidence that red marine algae may inactivate certain viruses like the ones that cause common cold sores, herpes, but the same hasn't been shown with the novel coronavirus. And the issue is that there's like 4,000 different species of algae on the planet, so trying to find the right one to cure your COVID-19 is probably going to take a lot longer than it does for you to get over the virus itself. So, waste of time. It's probably not going to work. Nor will eating garlic or sesame oil. So
But
it is
you should
true.
just do it anyway.
It is
'cause it's
true that
tasty.
garlic does contain some healing properties.
Okay, I'm gonna argue here that the garlic might actually help, because if the virus is transmitted by droplets, the garlic, you eat a lot of garlic, and no one's gonna come within range.
You know,
to get the
you're quite
droplets
right.
on you.
You're quite right on that. Yeah,
Gosh,
I
I
didn't
love
think
garlic,
about
though.
that socially, Shalene. That's smart. But truth be told, garlic, it does have some healing health benefits for your heart and your gut and things like that, and it's been shown to help in prevention and fighting of cancer. And it does have some antimicrobial properties, but it will not ward off the COVID-19. It
will
simply
ward off vampires.
it simply will not work, and neither
Yes,
will
it ward off
cannabis.
vampires.
Cannabis
I
will
disagree.
not. Cannabis will not
I
cure you
disagree.
from COVID-19. This
Like,
is
better
another
legalize
myth.
safe than
cannabis.
sorry, right?
I'll light up a spliff in honor of health.
Yeah.
I love this next one.
Despite any posts that you might have seen on Facebook suggesting that scientists are shocked to discover that weed kills coronavirus, that is not true. There is no evidence to suggest that cannabis contains any sort of antibacterial agents that can kill, that contains any sort of antiviral agent that can kill. But there is actually some evidence that suggests that marijuana does contain some antibacterial cannabinoids that can fight off harmful bacteria. Again, we're dealing with a virus, not a bacteria, two different things. So Cannabis is not going to help you. The next one is really great. Cocaine will not help you fight off the coronavirus.
So I want to make a quick mention.
Okay, go ahead.
Just about cocaine. I noticed that Martin, I think it's Martin Guitar, somebody who's exclusively selling Martin guitars is selling a 1982 signature model. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was a folk guy from the 80s. And this Martin is very beautiful, has very nice appointments on it. On the 12th fret, there's a little plate like this big that has the guy's name on it. And if you happen to pop off the plate of the fretboard, there are 2 holes drilled into the neck that happen to fit 2 glass vials.
Oh,
Because apparently this folk singer liked to take a little bump before or after a show and then hide it in the guitar.
That's not uncommon. Jeez.
It's pretty cool. So anyway, cocaine does not help.
No, it does not. And you might even see this pop up on Facebook, but there is no miracle cocaine that will cure the coronavirus.
But they didn't mention heroin, guys.
Yeah. Actually, on the contrary, cocaine does cause respiratory issues, which is the exact opposite which you're trying to achieve. But I do recommend that if you want to get your cocaine checked for COVID-19, you can head on down to your local state police department and they will check it for you for free. No charge whatsoever. But just make sure you get it checked at the police department because they're the experts in screening the coronavirus in all of your drugs. So, yeah. I got a couple other ones here. Coconut oil, it may be delicious, but it does not help. There's no evidence that shows that coconut oil has any sort of antiviral properties.
Shucks.
So that's another one that's floating around. Vitamin C. And this is kind of a big one because vitamin C, a lot of people take it for as an immune booster, right?
Yeah,
airborne pellets.
Vitamin C is supposed to help you with a cold or something.
Vitamin C is very good to take in general. But because of the virus is the way the nature the virus is, and how severe it is, there hasn't been any indication that has shown that vitamin C can actually be helpful as a cure, or even ease a case of coronavirus. So, it doesn't matter how many vitamin C tablets you take or how many oranges you eat, not going to help you in combating your virus. So.
Would it be ironic if something in limes was combative to
something totally random? I'm sure that
they're
there's
limes because Corona
limes.
and lime.
Oh yeah,
you put a lime in Corona. And
I
then,
see what you're saying.
The lime zest, you flick it on their nose and they're healed.
The next one in my
that was
list.
a shoe.
Do you guys use the neti pot?
No,
Neti pots, I find them horrifying. I've never used one. I find the whole idea of it just appalling.
I used to use
what if
the
it
neti
comes
pot.
out my ear?
I used to use the neti pot a lot when I had really bad allergies, and while it works very well for allergies, it will not prevent the spread of COVID-19. Your neti pot is not going to protect you from COVID-19. This is another story that's going out there. Also, don't put mouthwash in your neti pot and rinse it through your nose. This will not kill the virus.
That sounds incredibly painful.
Don't do that. Some people are doing that as well.
That hurts my sinuses just to think about it.
Yeah.
I sniffle like crazy. A neti pot would probably be a good idea for me. What if I did that and all of a sudden I'm like, "Hey, everybody, how are you?"
But this is some of the information that's out there, and people believe it.
It's crazy.
And so my message is it's important to rely on credible sources. So always turn to your government and state public health agencies. The Center for Disease Control in the U.S. is one of the leaders in this whole situation, as is the World Health Organization, the Public Health Agency of Canada, National Institutes of Health. So, I mean, those are the sources that you should be turning to for accurate information. And all of the information that I provided in this segment is directly from those sources. Which leads to the very last part of our segment is how can you prepare and keep yourself and your family safe from COVID-19? We know that it's spread via droplet and close personal contact. The best steps to help reduce contact with others, of course, self-isolation and stay home. Avoid individuals with chronic conditions, compromised immune systems. Avoid having visitors at your home. Wash your hands often with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. And cover your mouth and nose with your arm or your elbow pit, as I like to say, when you cough or sneeze. That is if you have some sort of flu or some sort of virus. In general, the following advice can help you reduce the risk of infection and spreading it to others. As I said, washing your hands. Avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth, especially with unwashed hands. Stay the hell home if you are sick. Do not go to work. Workplaces are little harbingers of germs. Avoid visiting people in hospitals or long-term care facilities. These are people who are already immune compromised, and you could potentially, make things very much worse. You can prepare by being mindful about where you're traveling. So consult a healthcare professional or visit a travel health clinic at least 6 weeks before you travel. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. As I mentioned, you can use alcohol-based hand sanitizers if soap and water are not available, such as on a flight. Eat and drink safely abroad. Stay away from raw or undercooked food or meats. I would say try to avoid eating out in general. Avoid high-risk areas such as farms, living animal markets. So I should expand. If you're in an area where COVID-19 is present, and the number of cases is rising, I think that it would be good for you to avoid eating fast food and food that is prepared in a kitchen other than your own. Because you cannot control whether people wash their hands. You cannot control that.
I just ate Chinese food.
Oh, you're fine.
Out tonight.
You're probably fine. So, this information comes from the government of Canada, but there is some other really nice information preparing for coronavirus in your workplace. Again, they recommend washing your hands. It's just, basic personal hygiene is so important. But in your home, what you can do is, aside from keeping good personal hygiene, you can help prepare your family by making yourself a plan. So do your grocery shopping during off-peak hours. Commute by public transit outside of the busy rush hour. Opt to exercise outdoors instead of indoor fitness classes and gyms and things like that. If you want to prepare and you suspect that you might not be able to leave your house for a long period of time, refill your prescriptions so that you don't have to go to a busy pharmacy if you do become sick. Consider seeing your healthcare provider to renew your prescriptions ahead of time. And one of the more important things is stocking up on essential items and avoiding panic buying. And I mean, you guys were saying earlier how, toilet paper is flying off the shelves and things like that. The Canadian government, and I think the US government is also making the same recommendation, but it is easier on the supply chain if people gradually build up their household stores instead of making large-scale purchases all at once. You can buy things, good options to easily prepare foods like dry pasta and sauce, canned soups, non-perishable food items, canned vegetables, and things like that. It's also a good idea to have some extra pet food, toilet paper, facial tissues, hygiene products, feminine hygiene products, and things like that. Diapers as well if you have children. If you do have somebody in your household who does become ill with COVID-19, there are some precautions that you can take. So your healthcare provider will advise you if hospital care is more appropriate, and they will help you in showing you how to care for somebody with COVID-19. Specifically, you should have these things on hand: soap, facial tissues, alcohol-based hand sanitizers, paper towel, household cleaning products, regular detergents for washing dishes and doing laundry, fever-reducing medications such as acetaminophen or ibuprofen, as well as plastic garbage bags for containing soiled tissues and other waste, household bleach for creating a solution. Now, this is probably one of the more important ones. Common contact points. So, the phone, doorknobs, railings, buttons on fridges, fridge handles, pens, common things that everybody in the house touches or in the workplace, you can make yourself a 1%, a 10% bleach solution. So basically you do 1 part of bleach to 9 parts of water. So if you make a 100 ml solution, you're going to add 10 mils to 90 mils of water. And this is really helpful in disinfecting surfaces, especially in the home if you have somebody who has come down with the virus itself. It's advised that you spray this solution and let it sit for 30 seconds to a minute before you wipe it. But bleach is one of the most effective methods in killing viruses. Lysol wipes will only work most of the time. Bleach will work better than Lysol wipes, unless they're Lysol bleach wipes, of course. But so that's basically like how you can prepare at home and at work and, protect yourself. Do you guys have any other comments or?
I have nothing to add because I am not an expert in this at all.
That was fantastic information. Thank you so much for the work you put into this.
Do you feel a little bit more prepared now?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot more research that needs to be done. We really don't know a lot. And you guys might see the recent article that was put out in the US that the mortality rate is the highest in the US out of all countries in the world, and it's 5%. And people tomorrow and over the weekend are going to be freaking out about this article. But I think that number is wildly inaccurate. I think that the data quality is just not available to really determine what the mortality rate is yet. So we need to do more research. But, it's really interesting. There has been this like massive movement of sharing of information. And in the research space, that typically doesn't happen. It's very proprietary. People are very secretive about their data. But, people are sharing data. They're working together. They're publishing papers quickly, getting that information out there to help the public make an informed decision. And that's really what it comes down to, right? So if you're interested in reading more about research specifically and you want to dive into some of the more technical papers, you can search through the New England Journal of Medicine. You can also look on, it's a site called bioRxiv, except I do caution, most of the studies that are put there are not actually formally published and peer-reviewed yet, so some of the information could be redacted or changed and things like that. But that is probably the most recent information that's being put out there. So yeah, so that's COVID-19 and you. And I hope that you guys enjoyed the segment.
Yeah, definitely.
Very much. That was fantastic.
And I guess if you guys don't have any questions, we'll just roll into our outro here.
Yeah, I got
no questions. Anybody in the chat have questions? We should probably just double check. No. Remember, guys, get your cocaine checked by your local police officer.
Or by my nose. No, I'm kidding.
We don't have any emails, questions, or comments. We do like to hear from you. If you would like to send us an email and share your thoughts and ideas on post-apocalyptic and Fallout-related ideas, you can email us at info@wejustlovegames.com. Do you guys have any announcements that you want to make? Are you doing a thing on Sunday?
No,
Not this week.
on Sunday.
Okay. Well, you can tweet at us at That Fallout Show. You can also find us at We Just Love Games. You can find Rick at Rick McVick, Shalene at Shalene L, and myself at Vendortron N. We are all over the Facebooks, facebook.com/That Fallout Show, /group/That Fallout Show, also facebook.com/We Just Love Games, /groups/We Just Love Games as well. As I said, email us at info@wejustlovegames.com. You can like this video and subscribe to youtube.com/wejustlovegames. We also encourage you to join us next Friday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, right back here, twitch.tv/wejustlovegames. You can find our shows on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and right here on Twitch. Please leave us a review on iTunes and we'll shout you out on the show. Don't forget to check out our other show, Game Stack Podcast, which will be airing next Friday. Shalene, I think that you are you're driving that horse.
Yeah.
And we keep an eye out for odd Twitch streams when we can. But other than that, thanks for listening. What is our last word, Shalene?
Remember, everyone, wash your hands and leave some toilet paper for the rest of us.
Good night, guys.